Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to anyone watching this video. My name is Hasan Arain, and inshallah today we'll be talking about core team, a short introduction to core team, and some things that I wish I would have known before getting into this role. So my assumption is that you or whoever is watching this video has recently been added to core team. And right now you're probably feeling confused, a little bit apprehensive, not really knowing what's to come in the future, not knowing what to expect from this role, and not knowing what to do, for example. But inshallah we'll address those doubts today, and inshallah that after you finish watching this video, you will feel much more acquainted to this level of YM leadership. So I guess I'll start off with my story of how I got added to core team. I was a senior in high school at the time, and after Sunday school, my the national show rep at the time was from my neighborhood, and he came to me and he invited me to go to Dunkin' Donuts with him, and I went with him, and basically he was telling me about YM leadership a little bit, and then he eased me into the conversation of core team. And I guess as I left that Dunkin' Donuts, I was added to YM core team for TNEC. And in that moment, I still remember in that moment, I was kind of confused, but at the same time, I was very hyped. I was really happy. But it was interesting because I didn't know why I was happy. I didn't know that why am I so hyped for this role that I don't even know existed. Right, I briefly knew what core team was, very vaguely. I understood that there must be something higher than YM. There must be someone under the Emir, but I didn't know really what they did. Now all of a sudden I'm a part of this core team, and I'm so hyped. I'm so happy to be a part of it. But I don't know what I'm a part of. And I'm guessing this is a lot of the same way that a lot of you guys are feeling. You don't really know what you're a part of, but you're happy to be a part of it. And after reflecting on this moment for years and years afterwards, and throughout my YM career, I realized I was hyped because I enjoyed YM. That YM was a thing that kind of allowed me to be myself. Take me away from the week, a week of school, a week of of stress, as a senior in high school and everything. So YM allowed me to be myself. So I saw myself coming to YM week in, week out, and I saw myself already doing core team work without being asked. And that was the reason why I was added to core team, and my assumption is that's the reason why you're being added to core team as well. That whoever added you, the coordinator of your neighbornet, or whoever thought you would be a good addition to it, they saw the work you're doing. They saw maybe you're the person who goes and talks to the one kid who sits on the bleachers while everyone goes to play basketball. Maybe you're the one guy who speaks up in halakha when no one else speaks up. Maybe you're the one guy who gives rides to everyone when there's no rides. Maybe you're just the one guy who steps up when no one else steps up. And if that's the case, I'm here to say that alhamdulillah, you deserve this position, and you've made it. That we're in this role not because we're chosen for this role, not because the coordinator likes you, but we're in this role because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put us in this role as a leader of the community. That there's millions of other youth in America that could be in YM. There's millions of youth of America who could be at the masjid. But Allah has chosen you from this very niche population to be on YM core team. To put it into perspective, for example, let's say there's 3 million Muslims in America. Of that, maybe 1 million are Muslim youth. And of that, YM has a total of maybe 2,000-3,000 members. And of those 2,000-3,000 members, you're in a core team of 4 or 5 people. So you've already been included into this exclusive group that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has shown that He loves you by adding you to this group. So if you're feeling apprehensive, if you're feeling scared, if you're feeling sad, if you don't know how to feel, just know that you're here because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent you here, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made you a means to spread Islam in North America. That being said, and now that we understand that core team, it maybe isn't as daunting as it seems. There are some potential pitfalls, and there are some things that we have to look out for. And the normal answer everyone is going to give you if you ask anyone what is something you should look out for when you start core team, it's going to be the term burnout. And burnout is a term that's widely used not just in YM, but in all workplaces, in all workplace settings. And the best way to describe burnout is, I guess, when you do too much and you end too fast. That you have a chocolate bar and you really like the chocolate bar, and you want to savor every moment of it, but it's just too good, so you just devour it, and it's gone just like that. That's what burnout is, and it's very, very easy to get caught up into burnout and not even realize it. So when I first started YM work, I was very passionate about media. I was very passionate about taking photos. I was very passionate about making sure the Instagram pages of New Jersey are looking good and everything like that. And the coordinator at the time, Safe Hasan, he told me that it's great you're passionate about this, but don't do too much. Don't do too much work that you don't want to do work anymore. And I was like, yeah, don't worry, I'll be fine. But it came to a point where his words made a lot more sense now than they did before. That if you keep on doing the same work, if you keep on doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to start to feel burnout. You're going to start to feel like you're being stagnant. And in these moments, it's very easy to get frustrated with little things. It's very easy to lose our temper. But what we have to realize is that, again, we're in this work for the sake of Allah. That we're not doing this work for anyone but the sake of Allah. And that brings me to my second point. The second pitfall is our intentions. It's very, very easy to say that our intentions are in the right place, but are they actually in the right place? And there's a short story from long ago that there's a man, and this man is he goes to Fajr every morning. I don't know the exact narration of it, so I'm paraphrasing a little bit. But this man, he does a good deed every morning, whether it's going to Fajr, whether it's going to spread the word of Islam. He's doing a very good deed every single morning. And this is a routine of his. He goes every single day to do this good deed. And then one day, while he's is on his way to go pray Fajr, do said good deed, a man comes up to him, and he says, "Hey, don't go here. Like don't go there right now." And he says, "No, I'm gonna go help these people. I'm gonna go do this good deed." And then they end up arguing and then get into a fist fight. And the man who is going to do the good deed, he easily wins. He easily overpowers the other guy trying to stop him. So a couple of days goes by, and the same guy who comes to stop him from doing a good deed, he says, "Hey, listen, if you don't do this good deed, I will pay you X amount of money for every month. Whatever was agreed upon them, they said, I'll pay you this amount of money every month if all you do is you just don't go pray Fajr, you just don't go do this good deed." So the man says, "Okay, fine, I'll take your offer, right? What's it called? If you give me money, I'll stop doing this good deed." So this happens for a couple of months, couple of days, whatever was agreed upon between the two. And then all of a sudden the money stops coming in. The money just stops. He stops giving him money. And the man who does the good deed, he's like, "Hey, what the heck? Like, why did you stop giving me the money?" And then basically the bad guy says, "There's nothing you can do about it. What are you gonna do? Go ahead and do the good deed." So they get into a fist fight again, but this time the bad guy wins very easily. And at this point, he's very confused. He's like, "Why did I just lose to this guy? Why did I beat him before? Like, what happened?" And basically what was revealed is that this man was Shaitan. The man trying to stop him from doing the deed was Shaitan. And he said that the first time when I tried to stop you, your intentions were in the right place. You overpowered me because you were legitimately going to do this good deed for the sake of Allah. But as soon as money got involved, you could not overpower me because your intentions changed. You were going to do this good deed out of spite so that you would get more money versus doing it for the sake of Allah. And this short story kind of exemplifies our intentions in this work. That previously when you guys were neighbornet guys, when you guys were just guys coming to the neighbornet, just guys just having fun at YM, there's no responsibility upon you. If you don't go do XYZ leadership task, no one can say anything to you. But once you're in core team, the responsibility is there. But not only that, the image also comes with that. People will start seeing you do more and more work. People will notice you on the spectrum, so to speak, of people that they can come up to for advice and stuff like that. And when this happens, it's very very easy for our intentions to get skewed. Am I doing this work so that this guy can see me and he can be proud of me and he can look up to me? Or am I doing this work for the sake of Allah? And just to conclude this point, the best way to make sure your intentions are in the right place is that if you're not consistently thinking about your intentions, then they're probably in the wrong place. Not they're probably in the wrong place, but you have to reevaluate them. You should consistently be renewing our intentions and remembering, why do we do this work? And another big thing that for leadership work that you will learn very as soon as you start is that you can only get out of YM what you put into YM. And I don't mean that you can only get out of YM like the time you put in. You can only get out of YM like the effort you put in on an Islamic level. The only way you can benefit from this Islamic work if you're putting in the same amount of work as you're giving. So what do I mean? Alhamdulillah, a lot of the times when I was coordinator and all the other leadership positions I'm grateful to have held, I found myself putting a lot of time into YM work. Hours a week, 5-6 calls every single week, making sure YM runs well, whether it's my neighbornet, whether it's someone else's neighbornet, whether there's an issue, whatever the case is. I found myself putting a lot of time into YM. But what I didn't realize was I wasn't benefiting myself. I was doing everything to make sure the neighbornet's run, but I wasn't doing anything to help myself. And a good friend of mine, Adib Basha, who is on the National Shura, if you guys have a chance to meet him, he's a great person. One thing he told me was that if you don't put the time and effort into into yourself as you're putting into YM, you won't get anything out of it. Meaning that if I'm not praying 10 times more than I should be, if I'm not doing Islamic work for 5 hours a week, but I'm doing YM work for 5 hours a week, then I've already failed. That as CT, for example, you guys are going to be expected to go on to your core team calls every week, your CT call every week. You guys are expected to be at neighbornet every week, and at the very core, let's say that's 2 hours of your time every week given into YM. You guys should also be putting 2 hours of your week back into yourself Islamically, whether it's praying 2 extra nafil, whether that's waking for tahajjud, whether that's memorizing another short surah of the Quran, whether that's getting more Islamic knowledge through a course, through some YouTube videos, whether that's reading a hadith book, whatever that is, whatever the Islamic work is, you must be putting as much work into yourself as you're outputting. You cannot put more work outwardly. You can't put more work into YM than you're giving into yourself, because that'll number one, skew your intentions, and that will initiate burnout a lot faster. You'll feel much more or less satisfied in the work if you're not giving into it, what you're putting out of it. And I guess now branching off of the potential pitfalls and things to look into. One more thing is core team goes way beyond the neighbornet. Another example from me is that in high school I was extremely shy. I was someone that never spoke up in class. I was someone who never public speaking was the death of me. I could not speak up in class. I could not speak up in a group. I was someone who was very very reserved. And after I was added to core team, alhamdulillah, that life is beyond me. That life is completely behind me. That now I myself try to take public speaking classes. I myself, in college, I volunteer myself to be to be the spokesperson of the group if we're presenting a group project or not. And that's because of the skill set I've learned in core team. From core team, I learned I have to speak up in halakha. I have to be talking to so and so person outside of NeighborNet. I have to be doing X, Y, and Z. And all of that led me to be a better public speaker. And what you'll realize in core team is that these skill sets will come to you, and you guys will inhibit these skill sets and utilize them in points of your life you don't even realize. That alhamdulillah, I'm able to walk into an interview and create a conversation and speak with someone that I don't even know anything about. And I attribute all of that to, first and foremost, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala putting me into this role of core team, and me earning and me taking out of core team what I put into it. I put the time and effort into core team to, alhamdulillah, talk to my NeighborNet, to break out of my shell a little bit, and now in the professional setting, I'm able to translate that as well. And core team goes beyond the NeighborNet, like I said, because it makes you a community leader. Now that you guys are on core team, you guys have to also be masjid leaders. Whether if your masjid is having a program, you should make sure you are there. And not only are you there, you're helping out the masjid as well. Whether there's a Jewish community where you live, if they need help, you guys offer yourselves as a core team, as YM, saying, hey, we can come help you guys set up. Let's do an interfaith event. Or if there's a community organization, whether it's Helping Hands, whether it's ICNA Relief, whether it's just a local community organization, you guys reach out and say that, hey, we are a part of YM leadership. We are part of Young Muslims leadership of Irving, Texas. We want to help you guys out. We want to help you guys out with this food pantry. We want to help you guys with this COVID relief. We want to help you guys out. And not just because I'm core team, because this is what I'm mandated to by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If my brother is in need, I have to be there to help him. And as core team, that's exemplified, because you guys are now leaders of the community, and you guys must be outwardly looking for your Muslim and non-Muslim brothers alike. And not only outside of the community, you guys must be interacting with your NeighborNet. That it's very easy to lose touch with your NeighborNet, guys. That all of a sudden, your best friend who goes to NeighborNet and you go with him to NeighborNet every week, all of a sudden now you're added a core team. So now you're his leader. You are helping decide what's happening every week. So not only is he your friend, but he's also someone you must look after. He's someone that you must look after. Someone who you must push to do good. And this goes with the entire NeighborNet. That inshallah, that all of you guys watching this video, you guys will one day become coordinators of your NeighborNet. You guys will one day become SR coordinators. You guys will one day move forward from those positions. And when that happens, you guys have to have a consistent connection with the NeighborNet. You guys have to be talking to these NeighborNet guys and making sure they're happy as well. And I think a very good metric of this is that, think about the guy who made you who you are today. Think about the person who took you under their wing, who tailored you to who you are, and try to find someone else to do that with. For me, it was the coordinator of the time when I was coming to YM. He really pushed me to break out of my shell. He really pushed me to do fun things. We went out for food. He took me to the gym a couple of times. He picked me up late for YM, dropped me off late back home. He used to even tell my parents where I was and stuff, so they wouldn't worry about where I am. And alhamdulillah, without him, I don't think I would be here right now recording this video. I think that I would just be some other NeighborNet guy, some other guy who just never broke into the realm of YM leadership. But because he was there, because he saw something in me, I was able to excel past this NeighborNet level. So you as a core team member, find that person. Find that one friend of yours. Find that one NeighborNet guy who you want to make a good core team member, who you want to tailor into being the next core team guy. And inshallah that works out. Because if someone invests so much time and effort into you, it's only fair that you invest that much time and effort into someone else. And one last point I forgot to mention a little bit earlier is study circle. I mentioned that we can only get out of wine what we put into it Islamically. If Islamically I'm not fully there, I'm not putting in time and effort into it, then I can't. I just won't be getting anything from YM. But within YM, there's a beautiful concept called study circle. And to be honest, when I was first added to core team, I never really cared about study circle too much. I never really looked into it as something that's so super important. But as I grew older and as I guess transitioned out of YM leadership, I saw the importance so much more. I saw the importance of learning Islamic knowledge outside of my my daily life to be incredibly more powerful than it was when I was just added to core team. So utilize it. The study circles, take them seriously. Legitimately put time and effort into it. If you guys are assigned to read 10 pages, read those 10 pages and come with questions for the next week. And understand the books that are being made for you guys. Study Circle has a bunch of modules that you guys will go through, whether it's Sira, whether it's your manners and everything like that. So when you guys have these modules, understand why you're doing them and put time and effort into it so that you can benefit yourself and the neighborhood alike. That's all I truly had for this talk. But just understand that core team is not the start of your YM work. It's not the end of your YM work. It's the start of the rest of your life. And I say this with full confidence that was the case with me. Core team is the start of the rest of your life. Meaning that your life will now change, that you're on core team. That now that you have successfully entered the core team of YM Westside in Chicago, your life is now going to change. That YM every week is going to be much more meaningful to you. And the skill sets you learn from core team are things you will apply to your real to your real life. Alhamdulillah, I can say the exact same thing with me, that without core team, I would be not here recording this video. I would not be the person I am today, because core team legitimately changes you. And those guys on core team with you, they're not just random guys. They're your brothers. If you have an issue at night, you hit them up. You hit up that core team chat and you tell them, hey, I need help with so and so. Hey, I have an issue. What do I do? And inshallah, you build a bond with them. You build a bond with those neighborhood guys. But again, core team is the start of the rest of your life. It's the start of your Islamic career. The mission statement of YM is to build and facilitate Islamic workers. And you have just entered that realm of Islamic work. So when you're 25 and you leave YM inevitably, these ideals are not gone. That these things you learn on core team, these Islamic organizations you work with, they're not an afterthought. They're what you work with on the forefront. I have friends who they exited YM and they work with organizations who they've met in their YM stratosphere, whether it's a psychological organization, things like Khalil Center. These organizations exist, and they're Muslim organizations. So YM has partnerships with these organizations. So with your time on core team, you can literally build your future. It just matters how you yourself take this time. And with that, I'll conclude. I apologize if I went over time. I apologize if I bored anyone. But just know core team is something that's very, very dear to my heart. And alhamdulillah, with core team, I'm a changed person. And without it, I legitimately don't know where I would be. So that's just my story. That's my 2 cents to help you guys better understand why you're being added here. May Allah forgive us for all of our shortcomings, and may Allah help us benefit both ourselves and our neighborhoods as long as we're in YM work. And with that, I'll conclude. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.